Let's move on. I've been so excited for this part, man. Let's move on. We're going to Gym Fails to Fixes. So Gym Fails to Fixes here, guys. Now,
which one do you want to do first?
Well, let's do our gym bro first.
Okay.
So, guys, this is all in lighthearted fun, but in reality, awareness is some of the best. Just knowing, okay. And we're only here to help, and we're here to critique. I have a guy here, CJ, that is an expert in these type of movements. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about powerlifting specific movements, and I've got 2 females and a male. And the first video here we'll go through is we got a guy doing a squat, and then we have a female doing a squat, and we have a female doing a bench. And the only reason I bring this up is because, and I wanted to ask you, I'm curious as well, kind of critiquing these videos, because I mean, I know my shit too, but and especially in powerlifting specific, I definitely wanted to ask Jesper, like you, is you see a lot of this, and it's guys and girls, and they have followings and Instagram followers and this, and they show their powerlifting videos, and sometimes it's like they're moving a whole lot of weight, super impressive, regardless if it's guy or girl, very impressive. But sometimes I might see something with the form that just seems risky, or perhaps maybe it's, man, if somebody's that good and they're doing that much weight, imagine if they actually did correct their form and fix it. Maybe they could get better. And the other reason I want to ask you is because I see people like supporting these lifts and being like, yeah, great job. And maybe one person or 2 people will maybe comment on that, and then they just get hazed. They might say, hey, you're doing this. It looks like that's a good lift, but maybe you did this with your knees, or maybe, and then just like their followers will just attack them. But in reality, the guy that made the comment, in my opinion, isn't far off base or isn't necessarily wrong.
No.
Maybe it's not his place to say it, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go over a couple of videos. I got a guy doing a squat here first. And CJ, I just want some feedback from you.
I've got to say, we haven't even watched it yet.
Haven't even started the video.
Haven't even watched it. But this comment that's right here, how did his ankles not snap? I could already.
Oh man.
God.
So yeah, so let's even before you play it, Ray, real
Okay.
quick. So let's just break down the scenario here, especially for those of you guys listening and not watching.
Yeah.
So we've got a guy. He's got looks like 405 on the bar, right? 4 plates.
4 plates. Yep.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
4 plates with a 45-pound bar. He's got 405 pounds on the plate. He's wearing.
It's pretty skinny.
He's got some muscle on. He's definitely got some upper body muscle. And he's also wearing what looks like really soft and cushy running shoes with 400 pounds on his back. So before we even get in the video, any comments on that?
Man, I am a huge 405 is when I would probably start wearing my my Converse, but I usually also squat and deadlift barefoot.
Okay.
Up into a certain point.
I do some
up
myself.
to a certain point.
Yeah.
Just because I like to increase the proprioceptive awareness of the
feeling,
ground,
yes.
feeling, being able to grab.
100%. And pushing
then,
evenly and that sort
right.
of thing.
And one of the things that I've actually learned from one of my mentors was even when you put your shoes on, go without socks.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So when I go with my Converse, I go without socks.
Interesting.
And so that way I can actually feel the sole of the shoe.
So no socks in the Converse.
Right.
I'm going to have to try that on my next leg day.
Yep.
I like that. Okay. All right.
And then also just a little trick. I usually also spray adhesive inside of my Converse.
So extra grip.
Extra grip.
Very nice. I'll have to try that out.
Uh-huh.
Hot tip coming in.
Little tip.
Hot tip coming in. All right, so he's wearing questionable footwear for what he's doing. He's got a lot of weight on the back, and no belt. Not that a belt is required, right? Not a belt isn't required, but maybe when you get to a certain weight, you want to build the inner abdominal pressure and get some more strength, and just keep everything compressed.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
go. Let's
ready?
play it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh man. So he's squatting. He's squatting this for reps. And
Reps of what?
I'm emphasizing in parentheses reps.
Reps.
So he's got maybe, for those of you listening at home, he's maybe squatting down to about 30 degrees, like not even a 45 maybe.
Yeah. 20, 30, somewhere around
20
there.
to 30 degrees. So maybe just a few inches of travel. So literally like the bar's on his back, and if you were putting measuring tape next to the very edge of the bar, like if this is your bar and you put a measuring stick, he's maybe going down, what, 3 or 4 inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 or 4 inches.
Can you help us out here? What does he need to do?
All right. So if this was my client,
Okay, exactly. That's what I want to hear.
I would reduce that weight ASAP.
Okay.
And
Too much weight.
Too much weight. I would. One of the things that I prefer to do is squat to a box.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to be accountable in terms of the depth. That way, we always know whether it's an 18-inch, 16-inch box, whatever it is. You're always touching that depth.
Okay.
Second thing I would do is externally rotate the feet a little bit.
Okay.
There's very few people out there
That have the range of motion that can do it.
motion in their internal rotation in their hip to allow them to go toes pointing forward
Right.
and reach depth.
Right.
So externally rotate those feet a little bit.
Okay. So toes ducked out just a little bit.
Yep. Pull those knees out a little bit
Okay.
and then squat.
So it looks like, so when he says pull the knees out, it looks like his knees are kind of staying inside of his toes a little bit too much.
Yeah, they're like if he were to actually go more in depth because he does not have that access to that internal rotation of the hip, then his knees would start like
Caving even
really
more.
going in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. Is there a benefit if somebody were to do a squat like this? Is he receiving a benefit?
So that's where I was going to talk to you. That's what I was going to say next was that like when I was talking earlier about the limited range of motion,
Yes.
what I would do is if he were actually wanting to train this range of motion, it would be a lockout, a squat from pins.
Okay.
Pull those pins all the way up,
Uh-huh.
go from a dead stop,
Okay.
and then do it.
Okay.
But doing it like this with these faulty patterns,
Yeah. It's
that's
going to
not
cause
really
issues over
benefiting him.
time, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
if he were to make those adjustments and then do this, then maybe there's some benefit towards it.
So faulty patterns as in his muscles basically aren't right doing what they're supposed to be doing through
Right.
their full proper range of motion, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Because I'll see some people, a guy might post on Instagram, then he'll go, these are sprinter squats, bro. Well, what are sprinter squats? Is there such a thing? So what CJ's saying is basically like if you are a power lifter and maybe you're trying to increase your top end, maybe then doing pin squats elevated in that top range of motion would be beneficial.
Yep.
But for average Joe and average Jane, is this going to help very much?
Not really.
Okay. That's what I was getting at. All right.